Hello guys, I'm Hesmiyu and welcome to another chapter of Narcissu Side 2nd. This one is chapter 8, Pink Manicure. Burning sunlight and a pouring of cicada cries. Pitch black shadows were right underfoot. After having overslept, I was now headed to the usual place. The lift bell rung. Morning! You're here late, say? Morning. Getting off the lift, I exchanged light greetings with a nurse I became acquainted with. By now, even if I entered the 7th floor, no one challenged me. Just maybe, at this rate, I, too, might become a person of this place. When the thought suddenly came, I was afraid. Continuing down the right hall, I headed to the now familiar room of Himiko-san. I knocked lightly on the door. I'm coming in. And when I went to Himiko-san, who had probably been waiting, books. Perhaps. Read atop the bed, thin volumes that Himiko-san gazed at. What those were, I didn't know, but her face was different from her usual bright expression. Hey, what are you looking at? Maps. Maps? Maps? With just that answer, her gaze once again returned to the pages. There was an expression I had never seen before, a lonely and yet also somehow calm expression. It's interesting? Not particularly. It's boring. Her words said so, but her face wouldn't turn this way. And even though she said it was boring, she continued staring with a lonely gaze. Then you don't have to look. Even as I thought that, I gazed along with her. There was nothing else to do, nothing else I could do. Spread atop the bed, the maps of some place. On them were a number of large motorways and roads, places with unfamiliar names. It felt like a sight to Himiko-san, who continued gazing, but for me, I couldn't find enjoyment in doing this. It must be boring. Thoughts. It's fine. Even I think it's boring. Then, why look? Indeed. Why look? Indeed. Even as she answered that, Himiko-san continued to gaze. If Himiko-san herself didn't know the reason, then there was no way I could understand. While thinking that, and just when I thought she would remain that way for a while, she slowly murmured, "But, you know, this isn't something you need yet. That means someday I'll need it? Who knows? Now that also might depend on you." Occasionally, Himiko-san spoke as if she could see clear to my thoughts. There were also times when she would suddenly toss out words like Zen riddles. What those were aiming at, I didn't know. But for some reason, Often, I would wind up nodding. Hey, Tatsumi, did you know if there were a place that you wanted to go to, how much of a budget do you think would be enough? I don't know. At the sudden question, I answered honestly. I had never thought about such a thing. According to my calculations, 50,000 yen. That much? No, you shouldn't think that. Saying it the other way, with only that much, you could go anywhere in Japan. Even hearing that sum, to me, it meant nothing. Also, I couldn't see the intention behind letting me hear it. Perhaps it simply meant that for Himiko-san, she had a place she wanted to go to. And someday I, too, would have such a place born within me. Perhaps she also wanted to say that. Tea break. Dry mouth. Well, why don't we go for ice cream again? With that, she folded the maps and stood. I've got to have my temperature taken, so go on ahead. Leaving Himiko-san, I waited for the lift. All around, I can see the pyjama wearing people of the 7th floor. These people, I wonder if they have a place I wanted to go to, just like Himiko-san. Or perhaps, people of a certain age haven't already given up or taken more a philosophical view. Maybe they don't think about such things. Tatsumi-san, may I call you that? You were definitely the helper? Yes, I've been assigned to the 7th floor. It was the helper who had spoken to me before. The other day, Himiko-san had been speaking with her, and said she wasn't an acquaintance. And about Himiko-san, about Oni-chan. Oni-chan? With that word, I could make a guess at how things stood. Before, Himiko-san said she had once been a helper on the 7th floor, that her family was Catholic, and she had also participated in public welfare activities. Then, was your younger sister to be a helper here in the same way was not surprising. And was there something? I was wondering if Tatsumi-san was forcing herself to be together with her. Not particularly. Nothing like that. Then that's fine, but before, she had been a cheerful, kind Oni-chan, but saying that, she sadly lowered her head a bit. Certainly, I also had a similar impression when we met the other day. At the least, her behaviour towards this kind-looking younger sister, I thought seemed very cold. However, towards myself, there was no need of there had been. Even now, I believe she was kind. Chihiro, what are you doing? Oni-chan. I've told you before, didn't I? If you've got the time to shut up about unnecessary things, you should be paying proper attention to your assigned person. I know that, but if you're also a helper, then take your duties seriously. Let's go, Satsumi. Speaking unilaterally, and then leaving her sister here, Himiko-san quickly walked ahead. Even as I felt somewhat bad, I followed her. Again, today, sitting facing each other, we ate vanilla. Sorry about that. Didn't you see something weird? That person just now. Your younger sister. Yes, that's right. While speaking, Himiko-san began eating her second ice cream. Beyond that, it didn't look like she was going to say any more. But I wanted to know about her behavior just now. Without a doubt, she was worried about Himiko-san. Say, why so cold? Do you mean about my sister? Son? I gave her a small nod. It was Himiko-san's own sister, and as someone who'd been the same kind of helper before, I thought she would understand her feelings. It might not have been something an outsider should be interfering with, but still, I felt the younger sister to be unfortunate and was sorry for her. Even though she's doing such a good and kind person. Not. Indeed, it's because she's a kind and good person. I don't really understand. It's okay, because this is also something you don't need yet. I'm home. Welcome home. Preparations for dinner just finished. I assume this is the mother. You must be hungry. Son? With a nod, I handed over today's empty lunchbox. Here, eat lots, okay? On top of the dinner table were a number of dishes, and as always, the fried things from the part-time job. Ah, here, I fried some again. With that, she offered a plate of chips. The slightly fat slicing was a distinctive feature. But today, the hand I held the plate was different from before. Mother, your hand. Oops. Ah, it's nothing. We were using oil after all. Mother answered cheerfully as always. But those were the marks of a burn. It was slightly red. It kinda happens. Before, while beautifully painted with manicure, Mother would show them to Father and me with pride. And that figure, happily excited over such a small thing, Father and I would look at each other and give a wry smile. And when she got a strange colour, even by saying I was 10 years too young, she had painted my nails too. But now, it was different. The pink manicures had faded, and in the place was a slightly red skinned of roughened hands. Why they become that way? The reason it was easy enough to imagine. For whose sake they become that way? That didn't even take imagining. And exactly because of that, it was painful for me. It tortured me. What's wrong? They've just been fried fresh today too, you know. That isn't kindness. I recalled Himiko-san's words. I felt that I understood. Betraying good intentions or being silent with lies, both were wrong. Say, Mother? What's the matter, Satsumi? They're delicious, you know. Dots. And since I've been assigned to the fries, your mum's skills seem to have gone up some too, making it harder. With hands that were different from those days, but with a smile that was unchanged from those days, Mother happily offered the chips. In front of such a mother, I could do nothing other than try to eat the chips. If I were to say the truth here, if I were to truly apologize, the person who was punishing us, a person out there somewhere, would they relent? A few days later, with the sun shining directly overhead, I headed to the usual place. I had heard that this summer was a cooler summer than average, but it still seemed like it was going to be a hot day. Good morning. Satsumi, I've been waiting. For some reason, Himiko-san was again waiting in front of the hospital. The courtyard again? Nope, that's not it. But anyways, let's go. With just that, he quickly started to walk towards the outside of the hospital. Wait, where do you plan on going? Didn't I say before? The remaining 3 things. Remaining 3? At first I couldn't remember what she was talking about. You mean there's 10 things you wanted to do before dying? Yeah. See, this is one of those remaining 3. There's something I wanted to go out and check, you see? As she spoke, Himiko-san continued walking. Already, she was quite away from the hospital. Just how far do you plan on going? Pretty far. Even by train, about 2 hours each way? Dang. And the doctor's permission? Of course none. Knew it. Dots. I didn't really understand it well. Even if it's Himiko-san, he was a resident of the 7th floor now, and I had a feeling that was just up and leaving the hospital, and going that far wasn't allowed. It's fine, you don't have to make such a worried face. Well, if I'm caught outside, I'm pretty sure they get angry. But, well, they will overlook things just a bit. But after saying that much, he started walking again. Maybe he was being serious. Certainly, if you kept going this way, you should get to the train station. And then, there was one other thing that nagged at me. By the way, you're going in that outfit? I raised the simple question of how Himiko-san was dressed in pyjamas. At least, to ride on a train, I thought that was a bad way to go about things. Of course, just like this. Just like this. You're not going to change? It's fine, this is my uniform after all. The sun up above cast short, dark shadows. And unheeding of the midsummer morning was a lightly stepping Himiko-san. Dots. A while after, well, with saying that, only 5 minutes of walking, around when the number of people walking out on the streets slowly increased. I wasn't too familiar with things, but it seemed like she was headed towards Station A. Certainly, he had said it was about 2 hours each way, but just how far was he planning on going? Especially with the speed different Japanese trains can go. I had to cough. In just that amount of time, riding on a train, it felt like you could get quite far. Say, from the station, where were you headed? To the ocean, to be exact. To where those pineapple trees are, I guess. Pineapple trees? Words that I wasn't familiar with. I didn't know pineapple trees existed in the first place. You know, they're always in front of large buildings. Or palm. There are trees called phoenixes, right? I know those. Those. Don't you think they just have to be pineapple trees? Indeed, they did look very similar, but... So, you don't want to try cutting one and taking the inside of it? That's... Hey, if they really were pineapple trees, it'd be huge. Was she being serious? From a common sense standpoint, it had to be a joke. But with Himiko-san, simply being as she always was, it was impossible to tell. What? What's with her face? Are you making fun of me? It's not that, but I don't think it's possible. For being Professor Croquette, you sure are narrow-minded. Everything should be tested empirically, right? Being a professor has nothing to do with it. And if we were looking for phoenix palms, the hospital has some. They are everywhere. Nope, you don't test a much bigger one. It's not fun, right? I didn't really know how serious she was, but together with Himiko-san, headed towards the station. Finally, we were just about to reach the station. Never mind that was 10 minutes. Walking under the blazing sky was unexpectedly difficult. And as I had thought, it seemed Himiko-san's pajama-clad figure stood out and people were walking by glanced at us. Hey, were you really going? Of course. Is for that the reason we've come all this? Hide! Suddenly, Himiko-san went to hide behind something. Before I knew it, I was holding my breath in the shadow of a building. What's wrong? That is the doctor from the surgical ward. And over there, the 4th floor chief nurse is there too. Now that she mentioned it, there were faces that I recognized. I see. People working at the hospital coming from the station. At this rate, they'd find us and get angry. Himiko-san laughed in a carefree and sunny way. There was no sense of planning or anything else. In any case, surely she had been a helper before, and she didn't notice? Well, my house was in the neighbourhood. I've never really come by train. Same for me. But yeah, I wouldn't just add in rules for show. Rules? Nothing. It's got nothing to do with you. And what now? Well, obviously we'll try again next time. Quickly, the decision came, even though she had been so determined to go up until now. If she really wanted to go, if it was after the morning rush ended, then it would be even easier riding the train without being seen. Maybe she hadn't been serious to begin with. The sun was still high, and around now, the shops in the marketplace were opening up. Well, since we've come all the way to the station, let's make a detour. As she spoke, Himiko-san wandered among shops along the street. Looks like, even though she gave up riding on the train, she didn't intend on going straight back to the hospital. Helplessly, I obeyed and followed her. As always, because of her pyjamas, people would glance over, but it seemed that Himiko-san herself didn't mind one bit. And then, her feet stopped in front of one storefront. Ah, these clothes, they're nice, aren't they? She chose a number of clothes decorated in the front of the shop. But they were all frilly kind of things. However you looked, they were meant for cute girls. They didn't really seem to fit Himiko-san all that much. Do you like these kinds? As if I don't have such girly interests. As I understood what she said, she had spread the clothing in her hands before me. Yeah, these shoes that suit me. Huh? Me? Well, you're always in cellular uniform, you see, but I thought like you that maybe this sort of thing would suit you. Thoughts? Hey, should I buy this for you? This one piece? But you don't have to be polite. It's a present from Oni-san. I don't want it. Would have been a lie. For someone who only had a single cellular uniform, it was a very tempting proposition. And Himiko-san's clothes? I don't need them. This is my uniform after all. With that, she pointed at her own pyjamas. Then, I'm fine too. Oh, it's not like you have to go along with me. See, you can still choose. Thoughts. While I wanted to reply, I swallowed my words. It was said in her usual bright tone, but the words can still choose. And at that, I realized the very heavy meaning in her words. No, I'm fine. What a pity. I thought it'd definitely suit you. Well, if you change your mind, just say, I'll buy it for you anytime. After that, we wandered around in front of the station a little while, ate ice cream together, and then headed back to the hospital. As we found similar clothes in other shop, she continued to say she'd buy them for me, but in the end, I kept refusing. The daytime had been so hot and hazy, but now in the huge sky, the face of the moon peeked out. As usual, after eating dinner, I returned to my room and relaxed. By the window, washed and drying on a hanger, was a sailor uniform. While gazing at it, I suddenly thought about the time I had gone to school. Right now, my health was good, so no one could forget, but in reality, I was someone who was admitted in and out of hospitals. Already, over 2 years had passed since I'd been away from a place called school. In that time, I hadn't once thought about wanting clothes other than pyjamas. There hadn't been any pressure from such a need either. But today, just a bit, my heart swayed. Perhaps it would have been better if I had admitted I wanted the clothes. But Himiko-san herself was stubbornly in pyjamas, and being the only one to get new clothing made me feel bad. Besides that, no matter where Himiko-san was in pyjamas, he was dignified. Compared to that, I always felt somehow sorry. Like I'm somehow doing something embarrassing. Can't help it. Or maybe Mother, who has stopped getting manicures and reddened her hands. Or Father, who continued the long commutes in the same suit. If they saw me happily wearing cute clothing, perhaps to both of them it would be a happy thing. But that, for me, I think that would have been difficult. More than saying I hate fries. If it felt that difficult. One way to end the chapter. Saddened introspective. The next chapter will be chapter 9. And then if I did my research correctly, I think there are 11 more after next. I think there's 20 total, including the prologue. Which means it could be complete in roughly 3 weeks. Depending on if I do manage to keep up with these daily uploads. But now that this chapter is completed, it is now time to end this episode. So I hope you liked the episode. That's it for this time. I'm Hesmiyu. Goodbye.